Okay, the upper Lochsa. This guide, hopefully, is pretty straightforward. Now, there is not much footage of the upper Lochsa. I found 3 videos that were all, the whole thing. And from those, I pieced together a guide. So what I want you to do with this video is, hey, use it as chapters. Go find what you want. And so here we go. All right, if you want to follow along, type in American Whitewater and we'll Google it. And come up here to River Info. Scroll down, you got to find your state. We'll go to Idaho. And then double click that. Come down to the Lochsa, all alphabetical. Just click any one of them. And you're going to find a guide right under this news. It says news and then documents. And here's the Lochsa River Floating Guide. And you can use it to follow along. Use your arrow keys to navigate. And you can see all the rapids' names. And see if what identifies them is what you see in this video. Alright, so here's the white pine pudding. And you got a little bit of boogie water. You know what I mean? Before, there's rapid in here called Eye Opener. And then you got the pack bridge up here. So this straight section, shoot, you got the pack bridge. But above the pack bridge, you got this left outside corner. And this is Lost Creek. And pretty decent rapid. So we're just going to zoom in on this. And, yeah. So you got a up top, and stay to the inside. You even got some boulders up here. And then stay to the inside, and you got some, long and continuous. And it's kind of just like the whole upper is just got long and high gradient. But there you go. What would be the next rapid? Well, again, like I said, it's the pack bridge. But let's take a look at Lost Creek. Alright, so this is Lost Creek at normal flows. Now this is terrible footage, but hey, you can see that first corner, a little bit of break, stay to the inside. Now here's this after that corner, kind of long and continuous. Those 2 boulders on the left, you saw those, and then just kind of finishing it out. Alright, so here is Lost Creek. Now this is at 2000 CFS, so it really shows you kind of the boneyard of the upper at lower flows. But basically here's the start of this outside corner, and so this is the first part that we're looking at. That's kind of that bottom part of that first part. And then as you go around here, now here's the second part. And then on the left, you see those 2 big rocks. So you want to be on the inside this whole time. And then so it says, Lost Creek, major rapid on sweeping right turn. Okay? And requires much maneuvering at all levels, as you can kind of see. It's long and continuous, and the bottom half is blind. See, this bottom half is kind of like a little 2-part, and you don't notice it, and so you need to stay on the inside. So that's the beta for this. And it's just nice to have this footage, because then you can kind of, this upper Lochsa just looks, high gradient and continuous. There's no, most rapids, it's like, shoot, is there any major features that are distinguishable? Well, this Lost Creek should be very distinguishable because you have this outside bend, to start this rapid. It's got that upper top piece, and then just a quick little, on the bend itself, some placid water, but stay to the inside because you have this lower stretch. And this is quite long and continuous just to get through. Alright, so we have Lost Creek. We took a look at that. So now we're just going to zoom out. Okay, and what's the next thing we come to? Well, here's Lost Creek, and then you just kind of have a straight corridor. And then, you're at Eagle Creek Pack Bridge. So I don't know if you can see that. We'll just zoom in. So there you go. So Eagle Creek Pack Bridge. You know what I mean? So once you do Lost Creek, you got some boogie, kind of got some time. But basically, here's Eagle Creek. And at the top, most notable is this rock pile. It's got some logs on it. So you got to be to the right side. And this feeds from center right down towards the left. You know what I mean? Center left. What's notable about Eagle Mountain Pack Bridge is then you have Lower Eagle Mountain. And then even after that, you got another, this is just a, unidentified rapid. And then you have, a corner, and then this next outside is fake Onnos. So just to let you know the order of the rapids. But we're going to take a look again at kind of this Eagle Mountain. Now a lot of people have footage from like here on. So here's probably the good part of the wave train, basically from here. But only the lower flows has got the setup. But some of the other kayaking footage, we're gonna watch all the way through this lower. So see how continued this is. So with Eagle Mountain Pack Bridge, just know it's just a long and continuous rapid. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so we got some of this lower water footage. So this is Eagle Mountain Pack Bridge. That's that upper rock outcropping on the top with the logs sticking out. But you're like, where the hell's the Pack Bridge? Well, it's way in the distance down there. But so these rapids are long and continuous. So this is a really steep gradient drop, and low water really shows you, actually this low water footage is like, oh yeah, it's some serious gradient drop. And, you don't want to be falling out in this stuff. You want to be heads up. All right. So that's it for this footage. And now we're going to watch a kayaker kind of do the main waves at high flow. So this is kind of, when it's juicing. So here you go. So it's kind of just big old wave trains, especially under that pack bridge. And those waves, you don't want to get stalled to a flip. Okay, now we're going to see some below the Eagle Mountain Pack Bridge is lower Eagle Mountain. You know what I mean? So just continuous. And look how wide the river is. You know what I mean? So you are committed to this run. So this is John Moore. His run starts at Eagle Mountain. He just puts in there, and he's got great footage. He's got all the rapids. So he's just going to eddy across, and we're going to see some really good footage, a couple minutes of this lower Eagle Mountain. And you'll kind of get a feel for just how continuous this river is. So, like, as far as the eye can see, you do have a little break. Maybe some white water on the horizon. That's lower Eagle Mountain, and now that's where we're at. So now we're just downstream of the pack bridge. And, again, like, these rapids are long. I mean, look, the river's wide, and you do have a lot of holes, too, at some of this high flow. Now, this is a flow that you'd want to stay away from. This is 11,000. So if it's your first go, down this stretch, don't do it at 11,000. You can do it at that low flow, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Even people do it at 5 and 6 and 7. 7's a good flow. 7's a good flow. But a lot of people are just like, shoot, let's get up there at 4 just because I want to get more experience on it. So this is still, you just have a lot of continuous below Eagle Mountain. And some holes to avoid for sure. Alright, so we just have about 5 more seconds of this, and now we're going to get into some of that real terrible footage, but hey, it's fast, Eagle Mountain Pack Bridge, you know what I mean? So that's, and then we're going to get into the lower Eagle Mountain. Just awful footage, but hey, at least it's there, and you can kind of see what the Lochsa is. There's only like 3 videos that have footage of the upper Lochsa. Alright, so here is the Eagle Mountain Pack Bridge and the next rapid. Okay, so it's long and continuous because you got lower Eagle Mountain and then just kind of more rapid, but you do have a corner and then just another major outside corner. And this is fake Onno's. And so we're going to zoom into that. Now what's fake Onno's? Well, there's a hole. There's a huge, see that hole? Even at just at no flow, that thing will just gobble you. And so you need to be on the left side of it. And look, all the current basically goes from center to center right, goes right into it. So you really got to be center and making your move when necessary, and just staying on this left side. And I just noticed this is an interesting feature up here. I don't know if you'd noticed that at high flow, but just, sometimes it's just like, where the hell am I? You know what I mean? So you got Eagle Mountain, you have this corner, and then just starting the outside corner, you know what I mean? Just to let you know, I think you'd be able to identify this. That's kind of a glaciation feature. But anyway, coming around this corner, you want to be ready. You can be on the inside, but just be ready to get to the outside for fake Onno's. You got to be on that left side, Daryl, he surfed that wave. He's still in there. So, all right, let's watch some footage. All right, so we got fake Onno's. All right, so this is approaching it. Now you want to be on the far left, and see that yellow kayaker? He's way over there. That's exactly where you want to be. Just left, left, left seam. You do not want to go into that hole. Hell no. Now, some of the other footage, you do see some kayaker. You do have this eddy on the left, so you can set up safety on that left side. That'd be a good place. So here's another run of Onnos. Definitely fake Onnos. Stay away from that. Now it's fake Onnos because at low water it's not there. So here's a low water run, but this is super low water. This is 2,000 CFS, and it's just a wave. But this just gives you an idea of kind of the river. See how it's real narrow through here. So that does influence what it's going to be like at high water. So just a lot of water going right into that feature right there. That's fake Onnos. Yep. And we're going to, so once this finishes up, we have one more. We're going to look at that just real terrible footage. So here's fake Onnos at kind of the normal flow that you'd be hitting it. So yeah, there you go. Don't get caught at fake Onnos. Some kayakers on the left. And let's see. And you do have some boogie water downstream. And then the next thing you're going to come to is either called, it's Upper Stanley or Keep Moving. But you basically have Upper Stanley before Stanley Creek. Alright, so this is a fake Onnos, and now we're going to zoom out, because what's the next rapid? What's the next rapid? Okay, so we do have a little bit of a break, and look at this. This will be a distinguishing feature, just a nice mellow, and you got a big old rock, you know what I mean, that you'll pass by. And then, so, I'll just say, we got Upper Stanley. Now, this is also called Keep Moving. So this is Upper Stanley. And distinguishing feature, it's on an outside corner. You know what I mean? It's busy, but it's not too bad. But then it kind of finishes kind of a you know what I mean? That's a pretty good wave train. And there is a distinguishing boulder, like right there, kind of on the left that you'll go by. So that is going to be your distinguishing feature in that rapid. And that's, keep it moving, that's Upper Stanley Creek. Because here you go. There's Stanley Creek coming in on the left. So there's no rapid right here. So you'll just be able to look at that and see, hey, that's Stanley Creek. And that's a big old drainage. That is a big drainage. All right, now let's take a look at Stanley Creek. Because this is kind of just a 1-2 shot. You know what I mean? And so now you're looking at a pretty decent rapid. Long and continuous with Upper Stanley and then Lower Stanley. And yeah, Lower Stanley, you know what I mean? Just a lot going on. It basically starts from Stanley Creek and then just keep heads up, and it kind of, the crux, will be down around this corner, you know what I mean? But probably in this middle too. Don't fall out. And down around this corner, the distinguishing feature of Stanley is another rock outcropping where the water does push into it, so you need to be on the inside. Shouldn't be too big of a deal as long as you're in your boat. Okay, and what's downstream of that? Just so we kind of know. Well, you have another major left bend, and this rapid is called mile 133. But it does have very distinguishing feature because it's just got a huge mini log jam on top of that rock. And look at all the flow it goes over there. But at normal flows, it should be pretty simple just to get by. It's actually not too much of a danger, as long as you're in your boat and stuff. All right. So that's Stanley, and we're gonna take a look at people running Stanley. All right, we just ran fake Onnos, and now here's kind of the some straight shot into Keep It Moving. You do have a little bit of break between fake Onnos and Keep It Moving, but this is kind of your break, you know what I mean? It's just boogie water. And so we're going to watch a little bit of this, kind of as far as the eye can see, down to that next corner. All right, so now we're above Stanley Creek, and this is Upper Stanley Creek, or this is Keep It Moving. And this is before the bend, and yeah, it's busy, you know what I mean? And it's plenty big. This is 11,000 though. But it's just like this all the way around this corner. So think of this upper Stanley and lower Stanley just as all one just massive 1 mile rapid. Keep it together. But this should be pretty simple. You can move around all day left and right in this one. But it's just long because we haven't even gotten around the corner yet. And kind of the tail end of this rapid now is straight ahead. Now it's a right to left kind of a straight shot. And this keep it moving, or upper Stanley, is, down on the left side, there is kind of a rock feature up against that left. So that is, something that you can identify. And then after that, as far as the eye can see, you do have some placid water, and then Stanley Creek comes in on the left. But that's that cliff on the left side right there. So that'll be your distinguishing feature that, sure, that was keep it moving, that was upper Stanley. Now you do have a quick little pause. Stanley Creek comes in on the left, and then you enter Stanley. So this is kind of that same thing. Boogie water down to the corner. Then you have keep it moving, or upper Stanley. And so this is just kind of normal flow. So I did include this, even though it's real terrible footage. But here you go. So here is the keep it moving corner. This is the upper Stanley. So that same corner that we watched. This footage does not end. It ends pretty much right about here. So you can kind of see that straight ahead. That's that straightaway. And then here's the straightaway at low water. So this low water footage, they just turn their camera on just for this part. And so this is what it looks like at low water. Now down on the left, you'll see that rock, that distinguishing feature of upper Stanley, or this is called keep it moving. And so we're gonna look at that. And just another about 5 seconds of this clip, but you'll see that cliff on the left. As far as the eye can see, you have some flat water, and Stanley Creek comes in on the left. Alright, so here's Stanley Creek on the left. You do have just a little bit of time before you drop in. So you kind of have a right bend, but then Stanley's a big left bend. So we actually, it's just a long rapid. So get ready, get ready for this. It's big waves in here. And then so kind of part of the crux is down this straightaway. And then you have a left-hand bend and a big rock outcropping on the right. So here you go. You got a big straightaway, left-hand bend at the bottom. Now at this 11,000, these two kayakers, they're jumping over here to this right side eddy, and now they're going to do a pretty big hairy ferry. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to do this in my R1. I'd have to stay down the left, just keep fighting for that inside. But yeah, this is one of the bigger stouts of the upper, especially at higher water. It kind of any flow. This is decent, and you don't want to get thrown to that left side. There's a big old rock outcropping that you can, you might get sieved out. There might be junk in there. You know what I mean? Doesn't look like it holds a ton of wood, but just you got to stay away from that, and that's kind of the distinguishing feature of Stanley. This says mile long, but no, it's just the bottom of Stanley. So just for reference. All right, now you have we're gonna watch a little bit of the boogie water after Stanley, because it kind of helps us. Because the next thing after Stanley, you kind of have some boogie water. You got some time. You got a big old straight section. The next corner is going to be, the next rapid is mile 133. And it's very distinguished as well, very short. It's just a corner, just an outside corner on the left. So so down on the left-hand side, you'll wrap around a corner. And there's a rock with a bunch of wood on it. Now, it's not super in place, so that was that rock with a bunch of wood on it. We'll take a look at that rapid. All right, here's Stanley again, though. So just real stout. This is kayakers kind of staying in that main and, a little bit on the inside. But, yeah, they don't have to work so hard. And then, yeah, that's that last feature on the bottom. All right, so now we're going to look at some of that junk footage. But, again, this might be the flow that you'd be going down. So even though it's just real junk footage, you can at least kind of get the idea. get the idea. There's that feature at the bottom. So a lot more time at a reasonable flow. All right, here's 2,000 CFS. So this is real low, but this would be a great little get after it. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Anything below 6,000. Be perfect up there, just for kind of a technical run. But they're way different between 2,000 as a technical run, and like even 4,000 or 5,000. All right. So here is Stanley, kind of the bottom of Stanley Creek Rapid, and we're gonna find the next rapid. All right. So here you got. It is still boogie water after Stanley, but you do have a little bit of a break, and then you have this outside corner. This has that wood pile on it, and then what's next? And then you have another straight, and this is mile long. So we'll take a look at that one too. But just for reference, like you're going from Stanley, what the hell's next? 133, and then mile long. So let's take a look at this 133. It's pretty short, you know what I mean? But it is very distinguished with this big rock outcropping wood pile. Now at high flows, yeah, this whole inside bend is good to go. Even at low flows, I don't think there's too much of a play, especially with all the wood. But at first I was just like, whoa, that's intense. You know what I mean? Just a huge pile of wood right there. Okay, so let's look at the next. So the straight, and then we'll look at mile long. You have maybe a left entrance, or maybe around this to the right, either one. But the crux is right here. But this one's called mile long for a reason. You know what I mean? If you're swimming this, holy sweet, you're not picking up the pieces until way down here. This is the one rapid you can really see from the road. They're like, you kind of have like just a real wide river. Everything gets choked to this inside corner. That's the most notable. So like literally, if you fall out, you just got to go down this inside, the entire way. But this is a very noticeable rapid from the road. This is one that you can actually just crane your neck and then take a look at. Some boulders up top, but what you really notice is that, yeah, all the water pushes to this far side, and you definitely know that, yeah, you do have a channel over here. There's just no water in it, so the river's real wide. Okay, so that's So next rapid is 133. Let's take a look at some footage. All right, so there's that big old rock, a lot of wood on it, but pretty easy to avoid, I suppose. So that's mile 133. Now, as far as the eye can see, that's this rapid right here, and it's not no sweat. This is mile long, so you do have kind of some rocks up top, technical up top. You know what I mean? Find your way to the left, or I would just stay to the left. It looks like that would be your way to go, because you need to finish down the left. You're going to wrap around this corner, and this is 1 mile long. You don't want to, and the crux was kind of right at the top. Those are the waves that are going to flip you. That's big as. So you want to stay on that left side, down the left side. Because then if you have any swimmers, hey, you're swimming this down the left, less rocks. You know what I mean? But this one's long. And this is the one that you can really see from the roadway. It's very obvious. All the water gets really compressed up against those left cliff walls. And they're real cliffy. You know what I mean? So you don't want to get thrown to that left side either. So stay right down the wave train. All right, and then we're gonna watch this is a little extra. But okay, so here we have the same rapid. So this is mile long, technical up top. Stay on that inside. Work your way around the corner. Make sure everyone stays in the boat in this one. It's just real long. It would just be hard to get a swimmer. It's probably not that big of a deal. But yeah, it's just long and continuous. All right, and that's that. Let's get on to the next rapid. All right, so here we go. So here's mile long rapid. And what's the next one we come to? Well, it's a rapid called No Sweat. And I get why people get confused. Look at this. You have like one corner, that looks identical to the next corner. But this mile long, for sure. You'll know this log pile, you'll know mile long for sure. But this next rapid, no sweat, be a lot easier. You're just more straightforward. But kind of same deal, technical up top, and then keep it together around the corner. And it's continuous, but it's not pushing up against that cliff wall like mile long was. Okay, and then what's the next thing? Well, then you have the next, you know what I mean? I guess these are right-hand bends, but the next bend in the river. Yeah, and this is Onno's. You know what I mean? We had fake Onno's, and that was also on a right-hand bend, but this is Onno's. And the kayakers are going to sneak it to the right, but Beta says, you know what I mean, sneak it to the left. I mean, you do whatever you need to do, just don't go into Onno's hole. But we'll see maybe just only one footage of Onno's, but we'll see. Let's take a look. All right, so here is the rapid no sweat. So it looks identical to mile long, kind of the top, a little technical, but this outside corner along the road, there is more trees. It's not as barren. So that's kind of an interesting feature. And it's probably just less tame. You come around this corner and you're not up against a cliff wall. You're just kind of, floating to this right side, actually. So that's kind of the big difference about no sweat. Is a little more tame, but yeah, still pretty big. And then so we're going to look at two more, clips. So here's no sweat again. Same outside corner, more trees along the roadway than mile long. Mile long is more barren. That's why you can see it so well. And then here's the finish of no sweat. All right, again, here's no sweat. There you go. And I don't know if you noticed, but at the top of no sweat on the left, there's kind of an interesting kind of rock formation. I don't know, maybe like kind of like a totem, like a two cliff totem, kind of squarish. So that's kind of interesting. You can rewind the video and see, just using those markers. You know what I mean? And then so they had a lot of footage because up in the distance is coming around the corner. The next rapid is Onno's hole. And you better be getting into the boat. But this shows you, hey, you got some time between no sweat and Onno's. And they were able to get a kayaker, All right, so here's Onno's hole. These kayakers go to the right side. So we're going to see, yes, they're sneaking it to the right. Really tight over there. If you have a 14-foot raft, you probably want to go to the left. That's kind of what the guidebook says. But there you go. Just don't hit Onno's hole. So here's some real rough footage. This is going to the left. This is kind of lower water. So maybe Onno's hole is not as, just real powerful. See the logs on the left side? That's how you kind of know you're at Onno's hole. A lot of logs. All right, so this is Onno's hole. And then the next thing we come to, well, just a quick little right bend. And this is Holly's Creek. And what you're going to see is this huge, tall cliff wall. We'll see that from the kayakers' footage. But now we actually need to go to a different view. Okay, so here you go. So there's that cliff. And so Holly's Creek Rapid is right there. And we're just going to go forward. And this starts Castle Creek. So right after Holly's, just very quickly. So here's Castle Creek. And this is one of the almost class 5, basically. You have an upper, and it's just long, a middle, and then the crux probably at the bottom. But the upper's difficult, upper's long, middle even, and then just at the bottom. So geographically, you got two creeks coming in. You got Holly's Creek right here and Castle Creek right here, and this is a really cool drainage. We're gonna zoom out because you have Castle Butte up here, but look at these two ridge lines coming in. So it's separating. So this whole watershed is both these creeks, but they are separate. So this is the Castle Creek right there, and then this is Holly's, and it looks like they almost come together, but they don't. So you still have this kind of ridge line, but yeah. So this whole system glacially kind of pushed out into here. That probably is why. Castle Creek, just like the Grand Canyon's got the streams push out into the creek, But even historically, glacially, that's probably why Castle is such a fierce rapid. But anyway, so let's take a look at Holly's Creek. All right, so this is Holly Creek. That's that huge cliff wall, so you'll be able to see that. We have a left-hand bend, and then some calm water on this bend, but then we'll drop over kind of the Holly Creek Rapid. So this is the Holly Creek Rapid, kind of a straight shot, one and done. You got that boulder on the left, and it chokes down right in the middle. So there you go. And we're going to watch some kind of this garbage footage, but there's that cliff wall, there's Holly's Creek, and this will wrap around this corner. And this is above Castle. So you got Holly's Creek, this is kind of one and done, and then get ready. Castle's like almost a 4-part long continuous rapid. All right, so here's Holly's Creek, the bottom of it, and here we go. So we're gonna look at basically all of Castle Creek. Is this whole thing, and here's the crux at the bottom. And let me get the better view, so then you can kind of see the crux at the bottom. Well, let's take a look at that first, just so you have it. You know what I mean? You have this huge castle of a rock, basically. I don't know if they call it Castle Rock, but the whole rapid's called Castle. It's got Castle Creek, but just tons of wood. You do not want to go into that thing. But anyway, and it's pretty decent to get. All the water flows into it, so it's pretty decent to get. And you don't want to be swimming this whole thing. That's the other thing. I mean, it's like 4 different little sections, and the top's pretty cruxy. So we'll take a look at that. Yeah, you know what I mean? So here's the top of Castle, and just a lot going on. And so, all right, well, let's take a look at whatever footage we got of Castle Creek. All right, so this is Castle Creek Rapid. So this is the largest rapid on the upper Lochsa. And then, so this is the first part right here. You have that little corner. You want to be on the inside, big old hole on the right on the top left of that start. Okay, so this Castle Creek is kind of 3 parts. So we're looking at the first part. Okay, and then as far as the eye can see, you do have a little bit of rest, but then boom, you got the second part, and then kind of a right-hand bend. So now you have this kind of sweeping right-hand bend. Here's the second part of the rapid. Big holes to avoid, you know what I mean? This second part's probably the simplest to get through, but buckle up, because the end's probably the crux. So right around this corner, we'll jump ahead right about now, and we'll get to the bottom half. So now you can kind of see the top of the bottom, if that makes any sense. All right, so now here's so up ahead is that third section. Okay, perfect. Now we're at the top of the third section, and on the bottom right hand of your screen is this huge chunk of bedrock. Maybe that's just called Castle Rock, but it's the size of a castle, and you don't want to go into it. All the water is feeding to that outside, to that right side. Big standing waves. And you can't make your line early. So like right now you gotta like kind of use your momentum to get to the left. To get away from that pile of bedrock. And that bedrock's got tons of logs on it. That's just, and you look at that, it's like you get real close to it. So just not a place you want to be. Okay, so we're gonna look at another kayaker. That top hole on the left. So that's that top hole. So this is your first section of Castle Creek. It's a little bit of a right hand, coming around a right hand bend. And then kind of straightens out and then jogs down to the left. Because the second section's down there on the left. And then, okay, now we're just jumping right to the last little piece. This is kind of, you're already staying left of that bedrock, and that's the footage we get from this kayaker. All right, now here is the Castle Creek. This is probably the flow that you're going to do it. I don't know if this is like 6,000, 7,000, but they kind of went to the left side of that first hole. But I'm not quite sure. I think this is that first section of Castle. But anyway, I think I kind of pieced it together. Now here's the second section, and then here's the last section. Well, let's see what we can see. Yeah, here's kind of the last section of Castle. You got the bedrock on the bottom. I know this is just garbage footage, but there's only 3 pieces of footage of this upper Lochsa. So it's just good mental images to get into your brain. Like, what is Castle Creek Rapid? Well, now you see it. And then here's the tail after Castle Creek. And as far as the eye can see, you can see Triple Hole around the corner. There's the first part of Triple Hole. but we're just going to jump right into it. This is low water. So this is the second part, second section of Castle. So if Castle is kind of like a 3-section rapid, this is the second section. This is kind of how rocky and bony that second section is. So yeah, the second section, that's where there was large holes at high water, but it's relatively the most straightforward. So here's the last section at low water. So up ahead on the right-hand side is that bedrock of Boulder, of that, Castle Rock or whatever. And you can see all the water kind of feeds to this outside, right along this little channel. And you can't make your line early. So even just looking at this as setting up for higher flows, see now you can get, starting your line, getting to the left side of that Castle Rock. And it's kind of cool that even low flow rapids kind of run the same. You basically kind of run the same line. Alright, so here's the bottom of Castle Creek. And we're going to zoom out because what's the next rapid? Well, you got kind of a little bit of a break. So you do have a straightaway, and then you have an outside corner. A corner to the left. And you want to be on this inside. So we're just going to get a better view here. And, alright, so this is triple hole. So you want to be right on the inside of this corner. And you got to run triple hole right up this, kind of right along the bank. Like basically kind of right through here. And here's your first hole. Look at that big old rock. And then here's your second hole. And this protrudes way out. So, you'll eyelash it right here, but you'll get sucked in if you try to ferry too soon. But definitely you want to get by this first hole. But yeah, definitely charge a little bit. Get around this second hole and really push to the right. And because here's the last hole, and don't look like much from here, but guess what? Flat gradient down here. So when the water all just pours over that, it's just a real retentive hole. And so that'll stop you. All right, so what's next? But then we're going to look at, it's always good to just see what the heck's next downstream. And, okay, we got a little bit of a break. Okay, County Corner. So this is, County Corner is the next thing. So after triple hole, and then look at that. We do have the boat ramp for County Corner. But hey, let's take a look at triple hole. All right, here's triple hole. So it is probably one of the better lines. So just kind of staying down that left side. You got to stay down the left side just enough, but because you got to miss that top hole. There's that top hole. And now you can't drive too early. There's that second hole. But now you can just drive as much as you want. These are pro kayakers, so they just need a couple strokes. But hey, there's that last hole. It's right there. You're in a paddle raft. You better get your butt moving. After you pass that second hole, you better be on top of it, getting some momentum, driving towards that second hole, eyelashing it, and really driving across. All right, here's starting on the right side of that first hole, and then, catching a piece of that second hole. Now not making a move. And this kayaker will get a piece of that last hole. And we do a little whoop-de-doo. But yeah, still pretty decent line. So that was starting at the right side of the first hole. You can't do that in a paddle cat, or a paddle raft, or even a cat. Alright, so here's classic. This is what you would see, even though this is junk footage. You're going to be way down the left side. There's that first and second hole. Drive. Hey, you even caught a little piece of that bottom hole. Hey, high side into it, not a big deal. And check that out. So there's where you can eddy. There's a log jam on that right side. We'll take a look at that, but you can eddy on that right side below it, just in case you're setting up safety. Okay, but at low flow, you can't go down that far left. This first pointy rock, this is the first hole. So behind it would be the first hole at high water. Okay, and this is where you would start to kind of get your momentum. There's the rocks for the second hole right there. And this is where you drive. Because down on the left, now it's low water, it's just a humpy pile of rocks right on that left side of your screen. But see how the gradient's real low? All the water pushes into that and makes it makes a pretty retentive hole. Alright, so here's triple hole again. And as you get to the right of this bottom hole, hey, you're going to be kind of going over towards the right. There's some logs over here, floating logs. But those, you can set up a little bit of safety. If you're going to eddy out, just eddy out below these logs. All right, so here we go. So triple hole, what the hell's next? Okay, we're going to zoom out, and we got to zoom out quite a bit. Okay, because we got a long straightaway, and halfway down the straightaway is green flat campground, and we do have our put in. This is the 9-mile access, you know what I mean? So if you want to do just 9 miles of the upper, this is where you put in. So, but what's the next thing you're going to come to? Well, you're going to come to this corner, and this is the county corner. And this is the highway department, and I've actually, So anyway, you have this boat ramp right there. Hey, this is for you. This is for you. You know what I mean? Put in right here too. So yeah, you do have a boat ramp access. But some people, you know what I mean? If you just want to, so where's that other campground? Well, right there. So here's Triple Hole. Here's the green flat campground, and the campground's on this side. But the river access, well, it's just right here. So this is just 9-mile river access. But at least you can find it. Green Flat Campground. And so there you go. This is the put in for 9 mile. You know what I mean? You got an outhouse, so you're all set there. And then you're just water level. You don't have to carry your boat down a huge ramp. Okay, we're going to take a look at County Corner. But then what's next? You know what I mean? You have class 5 right here. And then you have this little bend. Now, Logjam is right there. It's this square bend. Well, Logjam is right here. And you just know that Logjam has a real stout wave train right here above this bend. So that's where the wave train is. And, you know, I mean, we're almost finishing it out. So then you got some long stretches, and you have 10-pin alley right here. So, again, so now we're getting into the long stretches. So even after Triple Hole, hey, you got a long stretch, you know, some put-ins. Okay, well, let's take a look at County Corner, because this is decent rapid. You have rapid starts above the corner, you know what I mean? Got a little break on the turn, but then just long and continuous. A lot of waves, a lot of holes. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that rapid. All right, so above County Corner, you do have mile 129. So I really didn't go over it on Google Earth. But, you know what I mean, it's class 4, 3-4, large standing waves, and so kind of here it is. Here's as far as the eye can see is a corner, and then down around is a County Corner. And so this rapid is mile 129. So it'd be the first thing you come to if you put on for the 9 mile. If you put in at that 9 mile put in, you know what I mean, you're gonna go through mile 129 rapid. So that's this, and you know what I mean? We don't need to zoom in on it on Google Earth. But okay, here's County Corner. So here's this right-hand bend, you know, sticking out. And, you know what I mean? It's 2-part. You have this series of wave trains. And then, yeah, you do have a little calm section. You can get to the inside. Okay, there's your boat ramp. And we're going to get to the inside and run down the right side. Large waves, large holes. You know what I mean? Large rocks. So, but for the most part, this one's just kind of pick your way through, read and run. All right, now this is mile 129, but that is County Corner. Now, I'm just going off the wilderness. So National Forest Service put out a guide for the Upper Lochsa, and on my guide, this is County Corner. You know what I mean? Mile 129 is what we identified above there. So I'm always going to take that into consideration. Now, locals might call this 129. Hey, that was County Corner at the top, but after County Corner, hey, you got to, because this is a decent wave train. Like this is straight up. That's kind of that after County Corner. You have this long and continuous, and that's a real good wave train. That'll be a fun one. Whether the locals call it mile 129, you know what I mean? That's up to the locals. All right, so now we're going to. So this is the same thing. This is oh, you know what? We'll see. This is a big wave train, and but I was thinking. Oh. We'll see where this video ends. That might have been below County Corner. So yeah, that was the wave train, probably below County Corner too. Okay, so here is here's the County Corner footage. You go around the corner, they're way to the outside. You know what I mean? Okay, but then we're gonna go back to the inside, and that's the wave train below county corner, the highway department. So the highway department's right on that corner, and then right down that shot, big waves. And then this is kind of a normal flow. Both those other two were at 11,000. But they're calling this mile 129. So yeah, this might colloquially be mile 129. But on the Forest Service, you know, mile 129 is upstream. Alright, so this rapid is called Class 5. Now where is it located? Well, it's just below county corner. So here's the highway station. Here's county corner. And then you have a straightaway. And then you come to Class 5. You do have a left-hand bend. And you're going to be at the top of it on the inside. This Class 5 is marked by a large boulder on the right-hand side. You know, it looks like there's some lines over there, but no. Stay on the inside. Because this one is long. This thing isn't just that. It's half mile long. It's from here all the way down to here, and probably still keeps going. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It ain't over until this corner. So yeah, just stay heads up through here. Class 5. Okay, and then we're going to take a look at that in more detail. But what's below Class 5? Well, you have this squarish bend, and this is logjam. And we'll look at that more closely. But the logjam's right here. But the thing of consequence is right here. Look at that strip of white. That's going to be a hella wave train. Super fun, but you know what I mean? Stay heads up, because you don't want to be swimming or anyone around this corner. You got plenty of time to get away from that logjam. That logjam's actually like right here. It's really low down here, right where the current. But anyway, what rapid are we looking at? We're looking at Class 5. We'll go over logjam in a second. But yeah, I don't have a very good visual, but basically, yeah, it's kind of like, it reminds me of a mile long. All right, so here we go. So this says county corner, you know what I mean? But that was upstream. So below county corner, you have this. So you see this big old rock on the right. That marks. This is Class 5. So you have a left-hand bend, and then a straight shot for half a mile. This thing's half mile long. So Class 5. It's like buckle up. Don't make any mistakes in here. Take the inside. Be conservative. Kind of all the water goes down the inside. It kind of reminds me. It's reminiscent of mile long. But you don't have, you know, the exposure on the roadside, and you don't have all the cliffs, and it's a little bit more choked down in the river. But yeah, just long and continuous for half a mile of this. So, you know, get ready, stay heads up. But yeah, so this is, my book says this is Class 5. And so what I'm using is the National Forest Service. They put out a guidebook. But now, if colloquially people are calling this county corner because it's below the highway station, but that makes no sense, because the highway station has a rapid itself, and on the Forest Service sheet, that's county corner. And you can even put in there as county corner. All right, so this is just kind of continuing on, because what's after Class 5? Well, down around this next, far as the eye can see corner, we start our initial bend for logjam. Logjam is kind of like a, I don't know if you're familiar, it's kind of just like a, reminiscent of like Kuntz Bend on the Gully. Basically you have a squarish bend, going back to the right, left, and then back to the left. Alright, so here's the same one. They were calling this county corner, but again, Class 5. Come around the corner, stay to the inside, you know, half a mile of this. Alright, so here we go. So this is Class 5, and what's the next rapid? Well, it's logjam. And you do have a little bit of a break, but basically, well, I don't know. Class 5 is a half mile long rapid. It goes all the way to here, all the way to this corner, and then get ready. Identify this corner. And so here's kind of like the huge bend, gooseneck bend for logjam. Where's the logjam? It's right there. And you can see, look, it even makes a little crick on the right side. Half the water wants to go up into this logjam or to the right, and the other half wants to go to the left. So you have plenty of time right through here to get the hell away from it and get to the left. But where's the crux of logjam? Well, it's just right here. Here's like one of the biggest rapids, standing waves on the river. And so you really got to keep it together through this wave train. So and have a good time, because this is one of the biggest on this stretch. But just make sure you don't have any swimmers, or if you do, get them back into the boat. And for God's sakes, if anyone's swimming towards this thing, you have plenty of time to swim away from it. But there it is. There's the log jam. And, and then we're just going to zoom out, because what's next? And we'll go over that too. But we're almost done. You know what I mean? You got some, you know what I mean? So here's Wilderness Gateway. Here's your 10-pin alley. Here's your No Seam. Here's mile 125. And here's Pass Creek. So, let's take a look at log jam. All right, here's log jam. So, you kind of come around this corner, and here's the first straight, and huge waves. So, have fun, but stay upright. Holy Toledo. Because right as far as you can see is that corner, and then that sets you square up with the kind of that straight shot to the log jam. But yeah, this is pretty continuous, large waves through here. And now you can be working to the inside. But I don't think you want to go way inside. I bet you'll run into some. We'll see where they go. But yeah, maybe you can. Maybe you can just play way safe. But just right on that seam. Yeah, don't get kicked to the outside. Okay, yeah, you can play this as safe as you want. You can get all the way to the inside. So that's good to know. Good to know. Because that log jam, that's down there for days. But you just don't want to be swimming towards it. You know what I mean? So they are definitely center left in the whole river. Now if you're anywhere near the right, so where's this log jam? Well, it's finally coming into view. So it's a long way down there. But you got plenty of time to swim away from it. But man, it's a monster of a log jam, and it's got a creek going to the right. So I mean, you'd lose someone if anyone goes into that and goes to the right. And this is just a long rapid to keep heads up. All right, so here's just the goods. This kayaker just shows so if you're just filming this, heck yeah, this is all you want to film, just right here. We got about 5 more seconds. Just big waves. All right, and now here's kind of the turn into the first corner. You got so log jam is just that big old bend. So here's the wave train, and this is a reasonable flow. So yeah, it's doable. There's still some big waves in there. Don't get thrown around. And they're going way to the outside. Holy cow! But they'll have plenty of time to get where they want to go, and get away from that log jam. Mainly for swimmers, man, you just have to tell people about this log jam. Swim to the left of it. They're kind of flirting too close. For my comfort, that's too close. Alright, so here you go. So here's the bend for log jam. Here's Wilderness Gateway. And you're almost done. Now if you're doing it at a reasonable flow, yeah, probably the next thing you're going to be focused on is this 10-pin alley. You know what I mean? It's kind of your last rapid before Wilderness Gateway. Before you're like, shoot, I survived the upper Lochsa. And 10-pin alley, we'll get to that. But there you go. It's that inside, a lot of boulders. You either go inside or shoot the gap right through there. But why did I just do an overview? Well, because if you want to push this, if you want to push your limits, you know what I mean, and run this at high flows, 10,000 CFS, well, you got a couple more. And then so there's 10-pin alley, but right here is No Seam Creek. It is a long, no seam, because at low water, I don't see nothing. But at high water, get ready, you'll see stuff. And then so, but we got 2 more. So basically, you got log jam right here. And you have Pass Creek. You got Pass Creek coming in on your left. And so we do have Pass Creek. It's a class twosie doozy. You know what I mean? Just somewhere in here. And maybe we'll watch some footage of that. But anyway, and then you got mile 125. And then so that's marked by this little bend. And it's decent. It's decent. We actually got some footage of that. And if you're doing this at 10,000, okay, No Seam Creek comes in right here, and it's long and continuous. Big standing waves, big holes. And then you got the final corner into 10-pin. So let's just do all the way down to No Seam in one go. All right, so we're on the home stretch. So this might be past Crick because mile 125 is kind of a right bend, slight right bend. So this might be past Crick Rapid. There you go. There you go. But just in a second, we'll get to mile 125. All right, so here's mile 125, and yeah, a right bend, some trees jutting out on that right side, some big waves, so high water. Yeah, this one's pretty decent, and you do have a slight right bend. So this is kind of in this huge straightaway. So if you look as far as the eye can see, shoot, yeah, you got a huge straightaway down there, and that mountain is kind of that last little turn before 10-pin alley. But before you get to that mountain, here you go. No Seam Creek comes in, big huge culverts coming in on the right. Now no Seam. Well, at low water, you don't see them. But at high water, shoot, you get these huge waves. So, you know what I mean? You're either paddling to avoid or go have some fun. And this one's long. So, actually, you know what I mean? We're just going, this is still no seam. It's like a mile long. And so just a good place, last place to like keep heads up. Because it's pretty high gradient through here. All the way to this corner. All the way to that far corner. As far as you can see. So this is all no seam. Yeah, some big waves. Trying to catch a surf on that. And it's just good to know because, all right, you know what I mean? Because when you're finishing off a stretch, you're like, well, shoot, that's the easiest place to get lost. But you got this no seam, you got the culverts coming in. Even if this is low, well, guess what? You just know it's like a mile of this until this corner, and then that sets you up for 10-pin alley. So even this video, we still got about 10 more seconds. We'll go down this straight. And so now you can kind of see that left-hand corner down there. As far as the eye can see, that's going to be your 10-pin alley, corner for 10-pin alley. Okay, so here's kind of the same thing. This could be past Crick, but we're gonna go right into. So now this is no seam. The culverts, we just passed them, and this is kind of that same flow. These guys are like at 10, 11,000. So some big waves in there. All right, so this is kind of just that junk footage, but this is kind of that right-hand bend. See that tree's jutting in? So now we can identify this as mile 125. That's just, at the end of the day, I just want to know like what rapids are what and their names. You know, even if it don't help me like maneuver safely through. But there you go. You got the culverts and you got no seam. But there's just a satisfaction to be like, yeah, I like it. You know what I mean? I know this river like the back of my hand, and I've never even been on it. So that's just a good satisfying feeling. But yeah, no seam, nice and long, far as the eye can see. Just a slight left, kind of going all the way down and going around that corner. But yeah, this whole thing's kind of just a huge straightaway since Logjam. So that's kind of what separates Logjam from 10-pin alley is this no seam, and a couple of those other small ones before it. But yeah, no seam, like a whole mile long. Still got another about 10 seconds of this footage. So now you can kind of see down around that corner. Now you're on the straightaway for 10-pin alley. All right, so let's go back to Logjam because we got this big old long section, past Crick, 125. No seam Crick comes in, and this is like literally a mile long. And then right here, this is your 10-pin alley. This is the last thing, last rapid of the day. Last thing to get through. But it's a doozy, you know what I mean? Not much for above it, but you want to be towards this inside. And, unless you truly scout and see something over on the left of this big boulders. But no, the run, basically the run is down the inside. Most all flows, you can go down the inside. But maybe at some real low flows, you can't, and you got to go in between these two rocks. You got to drop in here. But it's real funky. It's even funky to get over here. I swear, like even there's like a guardian rock right there. It's just real tricky to get through if you're going, this way through these two boulders. But else, if you got enough flow, shoot, you should be able to go down the inside. But you can see at low flow, no, there's not much to get from here to over there. So, and scouting this sucks. You have to like park right here, just right before this guardrail, and just in a real crap spot, and then go walk up and take a look at it. But anyway, let's or you have to park way. Yeah, you really have to park. You have to park way over here, and then go run up. You know what I mean? It's almost worth having a little bike or a little longboard. But okay, let's take a look at 10-Pin Alley. Alright, so what are we looking at? Well, this is a 10-pin alley, so it does have kind of a wave train above it. Get to the inside, and that was the view of 10-pin. That kayaker, the battery ran out of juice. But here's this wave train leading into 10-pin alley. It's substantial. You don't want to fall out in this wave train and then just get threaded through just the boulder garden that's 10-pin alley. But get to the inside, you know what I mean, with it in due time. Do what you need to do. But here you go. Now you're setting up for 10-pin alley down this right side. And it's just, at high flow, it's just be right, stay right. But look at that line to the left. If you're trying to get in front of thread those two goalposts of boulders, you know, have fun. But at maybe lower water, you might have to. So this one, you might want to scout on the way up. You got to walk to it for a little while. But there you go. Even the outro of 10-pin alley is pretty good wave train. You know what I mean? Pretty continuous if you're trying to pick up some pieces. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, and don't ram your boat, you know, and high side those boulders. You know, if you're in paddle rafts, definitely don't high side up against those boulders. Or, I mean, do high side. Just don't flip up against those house-sized boulders. Alright, so this basically is the end of the trip. You take out at the Wilderness Gateway or just continue on, do the Dirty 30. Just take it all the way to, you know, Split or whatever. Alright, that's a video.